Good morning everyone. What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today you are in for a treat. We're 1 week out. I say 1 week out. We're 5 days out. It's peak week. It's carb day. It's loading day. Now you might be wondering, he's 5 days out. Why is he not loading 3 days out, doing 2 days, going into maybe potentially a back off day? Or why is he not loading from 2 days out, going right into the show? Now, simple scenario here. Simple scenario. The way this prep has gone, and I'm going to go straight into this and dive into this straight away because I want to make this, obviously I'm going to show you guys what I'm eating, but I also want to make you aware of the strategy that's being put into play for this peak. So the way my body responds essentially when I load carbohydrates is, when you load carbohydrates, you need to load water heavily. And if we do this too close to a show, what we found is with my physique, I can become quite distended and quite bloated within my midsection, and that's something we just want to completely eradicate from the process. But also, we know my body, when we load carbohydrates, they stick for a good few days after, and that's shown with body mass dropping initially and then coming straight back up a couple of days later. The carbs just stick, and that's even through going back to baseline low food. So we're doing a front loading in CARBLOAD. There's plenty of ways you can go about a carb. You can do a linear load where you slowly and steadily build up. Some people don't even do a load really. They just feel if they're ready, they're going to jump in. Some people do a back load. Some people do like leading straight into a show because they have to make weight and then they have to load into the show. Some people might do a 2 high day, then a 1 back off day leading to a show. That was another option that we were going to utilize, but we want to try this front loading strategy first. So what it's meaning is a heavy front load. A heavy front load, and it's literally just going to be carbs, protein. So 800 gram of carbs today, more than likely going to be running the same tomorrow. You might look at that and think, that's a hefty amount of carbs. Well, we are just running trace fats alongside that, and we are running 250 protein. So you actually look at the macro breakdown, you're just over 4,000 calories. Now, realistically, with the muscle mass that I carry, and with this as well, with everything that's in play during prep, expenditure's still in to an extent. We have backed that off as I was ready around 10 days out, so we pulled that out straight away. In terms of with the heavy expenditure, we're dropping down to 20 minutes cardio a day, 10k steps, which is still an expense though. I'm still training, so you've got to understand that, like, he's gonna ruin his prep doing this. Is what we need to do. We need to, the plan of action for these 2 days is to heavily load glycogen stores. Then from there, we pull back from the carbohydrates from Wednesday. We reintroduce fats. And then from there, it's going to be about holding the look with the fats in play. And obviously, it'll adjust the carbohydrates based on response. Now, this is the first time that I've been working with Zach, who I'm working with for this prep, in terms of actually going through a peaking strategy, a proper peak. And the strategy in play, I'm extremely confident with, and we both are, because we've essentially trialed it beforehand. So we know what generally works for my physique. It's going to be nice leading to a show where we can really dry me out. So the strategy is a front load, heavy glycogen load, high fluids, and then from there, during the back end of the week, it's going to be lower food, less distension on the midsection, and then really focus on drying out hard that last day. As my physique, we both agree, it's a physique that needs drying out pretty heavily, leading in towards a show, as I'm someone who does just hold fluid pretty easily if we don't really get on top of that. So there's no more body fat left. Since removing fatigue from literally 6 days ago, I was 86 kilos. This morning, I'm 83 on the dot. So I've pulled 3 kg off, and that ain't 3 kg of body fat. A lot of that is just going to be fluid from fatigue. But as well, there's probably a little bit of fat loss that's occurred in the last few days. We've gone super low back down to those low calorie days. And then from there, obviously, yesterday as well, actually, we did a zero carb day to really prime me today for these carbohydrates. So I'm ready for them, and I hope you're strapped in to listen to the full day of eating. Let's go. So let's get right into it, guys. This is meal 1. What we have here: 1 whole bagel, 300 ml egg whites, 200 gram chopped tomatoes with some mushrooms, vegetables, 100 gram cream of rice, and that is sugar-free sweetener in there as well. 2 gram of salt with this meal. It's going to be 2 gram of salt with every meal. So this is meal 1. I have not had a bagel in a while, so I'm going to enjoy this meal. Meal 1, guys. here we have meal 2, pre-workout meal. Just going to talk you through it. 150 cream of rice, 150 frozen blueberries, 150 frozen strawberries, a little bit of sugar-free in there as well, a little bit of sugar-free caramel. And then with that as well, here we have 150 chicken breast, and we also have green veggies. That is my pre-workout meal here. Again, macros broken down. Very, very simple, utilizing foods that are never going to digest well with me, sit well with me here today. What we're also doing is incorporating, as you can see, a lot of different colors in the diet today. So you've got tomatoes, we've got greens in there, we've got strawberries, frozen blueberries. Really, really important, guys, that we actually incorporate a lot of different colors in our diet. It's going to help, obviously, making sure that we do get our micros in as well as our macros, and as well help digestion. So here is my pre-workout meal. And we are back, guys. Talking quite quietly just because the baby is asleep. So I probably should have a mic on, but I don't. I'm just going to come close to the camera. Good workout today. Hit up some delts and triceps, and just a bit of a more of a, I say pump session. It wasn't. We didn't hit failure. Now the whole point of a carb load, when we're loading as heavy as we are, is when the body actually needs to uptake the carbs. So it would make no sense for me to go in the gym and bury myself and utilize all the food that I've just put in. So it's a case of today's session felt a little bit weird. Usually, like, I train balls to the wall all the time, so it was a little bit weird, but it's necessary 5 days out from the first show of the season. Now I'm going to talk you through post-workout. Now this is a bigger carbohydrate meal, so just go through it bit by bit here. We have 2 bagels, 100 gram chicken, 725 gram of, if you've not watched my previous full day of eating, please do, because of the tinned Asda potatoes. Absolutely insane, bang for your buck. And that is it. That is absolutely it. So 175 gram total carbohydrates here post-workout. And with this, we also have 2 gram of salt, and this for me is probably going to be one of the nicer meals. I say that, the 2 meals that are coming after this are absolutely banging. I say that 3 meals, any meal's banging at the minute when you're having 800 gram of carbs. But this is my post-workout, guys. So let me eat it. We are back, sports fans. Meal 4 now. So what we have here, cream of rice, 160 gram, whey protein, Bosh, whey paste always. And the secret to a good whey paste, slightly overdo it in terms of runniness, but not too runny. Put it in the fridge for 15 minutes, and then it gets a little bit less runny, and then pour it over your cream of rice. Thank me later. I actually found that off Wesley Visser's YouTube, because he always has his cream of rice and whey, and he always does it like a whey. He does it like a drip, but this is more of a paste, and paste is so much better. No one likes runny whey, it's just a waste of time. You've got to have it as a paste. So here we are, 160 cream of rice, boom, big amount of carbohydrates, and 50 gram of whey here. One thing that I think is worth mentioning as well is just a little bit of like educational side of things too. When you run a carb load like this, and I'll say it like as well, you have to be legitimately peeled to run stuff like this. Like, this isn't something that everyone should just be like, oh, 800 gram of carbs, right, I need to get full. Because unless you're in shape and legit taking it to the bone, then it's probably not going to have the impact that you want. You probably are going to spill. Now, the goal for us over these next few days is to actually not spill, but if we spill on Wednesday, we're not bothered, because we know that fluid then comes off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday when we dry out going in towards Saturday. And obviously we're going to hold that fullness. But I just wanted to make that quite clear as well to some guys who may be watching and think, what the hell, that's a lot of food. But with a guy of my mass, I actually need this amount of food to then fill my glycogen stores to the maximum, to then, like I said, transition later down the line. So just a little bit of a take home for you there as well, guys. And yeah, let me get after it. Boom. Back. Meal 5. Guess what? More cream of rice. More cream of rice. Just gone for a different flavour. So gone for vanilla flavour here, trained by JP. Definitely not eating that. 130 gram cream of rice. Again. Just a cream of rice meal this. So there's actually no protein in here. What I actually do is I have 5 main protein meals on my normal day. Today's just been 6 meals just to get the amount of carbohydrates in. Like, I would never get 800 gram of carbs in 5 meals. It would just absolutely ruin me. To be fair, this is like starting to take its toll. But for me to get them in, it's just going to be a case of this is a carbohydrate only meal. And then my final meal, I'll literally go to carb protein. And again, you're probably going to guess what that final meal is. But here, just 130 gram cream of rice. Welcome back. Final meal going down now. So it's getting late. It's actually a little bit, slightly later, only slightly later. It's 8:05. Usually I'll be in bed right now. So slightly later than normal for me. But just to get this amount of food in, I've taken a nap and conked out a little bit. So just to get this food in, like, it's a case of now going on to the final meal and finishing the job off really for today. So fluid wise, 8 litres, which is nearly complete. With that, 2 gram of salt bin per meal, so 12 grams sodium total for the day. With that, obviously, I'm feeling full right now. Not only just in my stomach, but also muscle bellies as well. Absolutely, I should be. And then tomorrow morning, it's going to be interesting to actually see what body weight I wake up at. So this morning I was 83 on the dot, and that was the lowest weight of prep so far by 0.5 kg. So it's going to be interesting to see what I weigh in tomorrow. Like, the way the high days have been running, so if I run a high day, obviously that being slightly lower carb high day but higher fat high day, my body weight has often churned over and actually dropped overnight. And then from there, what we've seen is with the secondary day or just going back to baseline, the day after it jumps back up, which is why we've started so early at 5 days out, because what I expect tomorrow is either it'll stall or stay, or there'll be minimal kind of movement, be a bit of movement, but it'll be interesting to see. And then from there, it'll be a case of the day after it'll jump up. So Wednesday it'll jump back up. Thursday, Friday it'll come back down, particularly as we dry off on the Friday, when fluid intake will be low throughout the whole day on Friday. And we'll probably be running like potentially even just pro fats, so like just protein and fats on the Friday potentially, as that's really going to help with that process. So it's going to be interesting to see the strategy that we run. It's going to be based off, obviously, daily check-ins now, daily response. We've been running daily check-ins since 3 weeks out. So Zach pretty much knows my body inside out, how it works right now. And he's very much into tune with that. So it's going to be interesting. But we'll run another day tomorrow. At the minute, that's the plan. Run another day at 800 like this. 2 days at 1600 over the course of 2 days. And then we'll start to rein things in massively, bring the fats back up, bring the protein a little bit higher, and start that diuresis process. And that's when the magic happens. We get full, and then we dry later in the week with the front load approach and keep that waist nice and tight come the end of the week. So it's exciting, and it's the first time I've ran this method. But I do believe it's going to work with my physique. I really, really do. I feel like my physique is what, like, it literally is just going to suit it to the ground. What I've done in previous preps before is I've ran with who I've been working with previously. I've ran like 2 days going into the show, basically like 2 loading days going into the show, which hasn't really allowed much time to properly dry off. But at the same time, I've lost my midsection in terms of that detail and that waistline. For me, I've got the size. It's not a case of I need to try and push the size game later down the line of the week and run like a bodybuilding style carb up 2 days out or whatever. I don't need to make a weight cap. So it's not like I need to make weight to then carb up and try and risk losing my midsection. So it's about being my waist to be as tight as possible and as light as possible at the end of the week, having gained the fullness from the start of the week, which I will keep. My physique will keep. It does retain fullness. I don't struggle to get full. So it's exciting. It really, really is. And talk about the macros now for this final meal. So I've actually changed it in terms of the meal I was going to have. I was just going to have 160 cream of rice, but to be honest, the 160 cream of rice straight it's bloated me a little bit more. So what I've actually done is incorporate a little bit of fruit in there as well. So we've got 50 gram of whey, 130 cream of rice, and 100 gram frozen blueberries and 150 frozen strawberries, and that will make up the macro. So that's 800 gram of carbs, guys, and the full macro breakdown is now listed on the screen. So it's been a big day. We rinse and repeat it tomorrow. We see where we land on Wednesday, and then we start to peak this physique for show day number 1. So when you'll be seeing this, obviously it'll be the day after the show, but you'll see the look. And this is just part of the process. I wanted to showcase it for you guys. It's interesting to see. You realise actually what goes into this. You realise if you're in true condition and you are peeled and you are lean, show contest lean, and you carry a good sufficient amount of muscle mass, you can run these kind of loads to then transition down and really manipulate the body as to how you well, you can do a lot of things really. So it's interesting to see, and I'm always learning my body as well, and it's always as a coach myself, an interesting process to go through. So yeah, it's every prep you're more in tune with your body. I've done numerous preps now, and it's exciting really getting into obviously this weekend competing. So there you have it, day 1. I'm not going to film day 2, but you've got 1600 gram of carbs going in over 2 days, 800 gram carb load.